Coach, I got one for you. Lodeiro and Nagbe. Could you talk about those two midfielders and their styles and how that's a focus for this game? They're both two very unique players.
Yeah, very good players. I'll start with that. Both of them are very good. We've always liked Darlington. He's been a good pickup for them. Watching him at Akron, watching him grow over the years. When he gets the ball and is able to run at you, very dangerous. Very dangerous. Good dribbler. Now the difference might be that when Lodeiro turns and faces you, he can dribble, yes, he can do that, but he's dribbling at you to find that next pass. And I think that's probably the difference between those two, the subtle difference, because both of them can dribble, both of them can pass, but very influential players for both teams.
You talked a little bit this week about Portland's counterattacking and how they burned you last time. How do you kind of prepare for something like that, and how do you plan on stopping it?
Film of the last game, working out on the field to make sure everybody knows where they need to be in case it breaks down, and then repetition of that training on the field. So if they don't get it right on Sunday, then I haven't been doing my job.
See, Aaron Kovar has his brace off. How's he coming along?
Good. Again, Matt, I apologize. I'm not always up to the minute on those, but it was nice to have him on the field, and just being able to run around the field is good news for him. He had a smile on his face today.
Sure, he did not look happy with his bag that he had to drag around.
Well, that's not fun. That's not. It's a lot of. It's like 100 pounds. I don't know, 120 pounds in there.
And I don't know that there was ever really a timeline on him. Could he potentially come back at some point this season?
Sure,
or?
absolutely. He was playing well when he got injured. Absolutely.
Sure.
We've seen what Nikko can do on the field, obviously, but how do you think he's integrated into the locker room and as a teammate and from a personality standpoint?
Right. He and Flacco were out on our day off this week, and I made sure that Christian and some of the other young guys found out that they were in on their day off. So he's leading by example as well as integrating himself on and off the field.
How important is it to maybe get ahead on the board quickly in this game here at home?
Very. The statistics are staggering in our league. The team that scores first, they win the majority of the time. So it's always nice to get a lead early. Then you can dictate tempo, pace, all of those types of things. But obviously we're at home, and if we score early, that starts the momentum going in our favor.
Is that especially important against a team that likes to play on the counter like Portland?
Sure. We can dictate pace. They might have to push a little bit, opens up room for our counter. I mean, there's lots of different. Look, games in our league, they're like amoebas. They flow everywhere. There's good times for us. There's good times for the opponent. It's just critical that we, in our good moments, we're able to capitalize and score some goals.
Sure.
How great is it for the soccer community, Seattle, Portland, what's on the line, as a guy that's from the community? How great is that Sunday's game?
Well, you can ask I don't know how many hundreds of Portland fans driving up here, and then you can ask the hundreds of our fans that will drive down next Sunday. They'll all tell you that it's a great week of soccer in the Northwest.
When you got a quick turnaround, you got Houston coming up, is there ever a thought of saving certain guys or anything like that?
No, we're not saving anyone. They're playing. It'll be a tough week, but everybody's playing. It's all hands on deck.
So, Coach, you mentioned days before that you will have one of those good problems when Roman comes available to play. Are you having that same problem right now with your midfielders, with Freeberg and Flacco, who came to help the team?
Very difficult because Christian has come in. Ozzy's been there pretty steady, but Christian has come in and done a good job. So it is difficult for Eric. He's had some unfortunate injuries. He was unlucky this year being injured. And so now he's working his way back in, but Christian has played well and the team has done well. So for Flacco to come in, for Freeberg, for those guys, we'll obviously need them in weeks like this where we have a couple of games stacked up. But at the same time, it's a good problem for me to have It just means that I have a strong team to pick from.
Allow me to get off topic real quick here in regards to Christian. He's been one of those players that has been heard from a couple of national teams, including Guatemala and El Salvador. Siggy had talked to me. We had heard from Siggy. Have you ever talked to him about potentially maybe going one of those national teams or waiting for the U.S.? It seems more of a long shot sometimes.
No, because my conversations with Christian have been about the Seattle Sounders and making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I have yet to have those bigger picture discussions with him. I need him to focus on Sunday.
Any thoughts on it, on what would you think a young player like him might do?
Well, he's going to end up somewhere. He's good enough to play for someone's national team.
Absolutely.
It just depends on, which country he chooses.